Hello world, hello Africa, hello Nigeria. I'm so excited to be here again. This night we're going to have a very interesting time because we're talking about something really dear to my heart, and we're going to be talking about character versus competence. What's the cross line between character and competence? So we're going to go straight to the point because we don't have much time. So once again, you're welcome. If you're new to my channel, please ensure you like, you share, and you subscribe. That's important. It helps the algorithm notify other people. It gets our video across to many other persons who can benefit from the value that we share here. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Stephen Oluyemi. I'm a leadership character development coach and addictions recovery coach and transformational leader. I help people improve the quality of their lives and leadership in whatever sphere by tweaking one or two things about their values, their beliefs, their character, so to say, and they can express more possibilities just by changing little things that really matter. All right, you're welcome. For whatever reason you've joined this session, maybe you're looking to improve the quality of your personal life by improving your character, or you're looking at improving your business. Maybe you're a family man, you're a parent, you want to ensure that you're able to lead your children better by working on yourself. Then you're welcome. Whatever thing you want to work on and has brought you here this night, I am so excited because I strongly believe that the few things I'll be sharing are going to be of immense value and contribution to your growth. So once again, you're welcome. My name is Stephen, and let's get started. Competence. So what is competence? All right, competence is that word you use to describe the body of skills that you've got, the expertise, right? The ability to get things done. That quality is what we call competence. That is, you can get stuff done. You're good, all right? You're a father. You can provide, right? You're a business owner. You can think. You can strategize. You're a student. You can write an exam, you can pass. All right, you're a designer, you're a skilled person, you can create videos, you can do a lot of things. So that's your competence. But let's talk about character in a bit. So what's character? Character is that set of beliefs, that values you've got, that morals, all right, that integrity compass. That's your character. So this is a cross line, character and competence. Now let's talk about why understanding these two lines are very key. That's because there is a thin line between the both. There is this crossroad between them. And interestingly, for any kind of leadership, whatever sphere, whatever sector, whether in the home front, in the family, in the business line, in the academic world, whatever sector it is that you operate in, your competence must always match up with your character. Or let me say, your character must always match up with your competence. There are fathers in the house who can provide, mothers who can cook good meals, but they don't have the quality of character to raise responsible children. They're only there when it's time to do their basic responsibility. When it comes to impacting quality life skills that can guarantee the success of these children in the long run, they are deficient. And the truth is, you cannot give what you do not have. Imagine you're a business owner or organization, you're a founder or something, or a team lead, and then you can get the work done, right? You have people who can get the work done, but you don't have the habits, the quality of character to harness the potential of those people. You shout too much. You don't know how to motivate your team. You're not responsible enough. You're not leading by example, but you can actually get them to do the job. You see the way it's coming in right now. So there is a huge gap in our world right now, especially in these areas I've talked about as regards the family, the workplace, the academic world, the business space. We have very competent people. At the same time, they are deficient when it comes to their character. So the truth here is, it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how competent you are, how skillful you are, if you are not, very, very good at marrying your competence with your character, believe me, you're going to be left stranded. I want to ask you a question. Let's be very sincere. Who do you prefer? somebody who can get the job done, or who can get the job done well. And when I say well, I don't mean excellence in the sense of getting the work done. I mean how they actually do it. For instance, when you go to some banks, right, these people can actually operate the computer, they can solve the problem, but the approach with it they talk to you is so bad. I mean, if you were me or if I were you, I mean, any person would most likely be offended when somebody doesn't talk to them the right way. It doesn't matter how good you are as a banker and how many years you've spent working on something, you should be able to learn how to communicate effectively using the right language, using the right tone, using the right approach, right? So even to basic communication, there is a difference between sorry and sorry. I said sorry. Those little things matter a lot. How you greet people, it matters a lot. A client complains to you about something, and then you go, no, 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 no. You are competent by producing that product, but when you have a complaint about it, how do you receive such feedbacks? That's character. So even if you're a salesperson, you sell something, how you conduct yourself matters the manner with which your clients or your customers are going to perceive or receive you. So even if, I mean, I think I'm trying to remember something like that happened some time ago, but I know in my experience growing up, I have stopped doing business with people just because their character is faulty. And you can attest to this. Let me give you an example. Ask you a question, like I said, if you were in a street, all right, you live in a street, and then there is somebody who sells something. Let's use a basic product. Let's say like drinks, right? Let's say drinks. Let's say wine, basically, right? You buy wine from this store on your street, and then on the next street, there's somebody who sells the same thing. I put it to you that there has been times where uh you left that person on your street and you go all the way to the next street to buy from them. It's not just because of the thing they're selling. They both have the quality of product, they have the quality of results, but the character distinguishes them. So in this way, we can liken character to branding. So when people hear of your name, what comes to their mind? So what you really sell many times is not the product, is the name, is the quality of character behind that name, behind that product. The same thing with many leaders. You can be charismatic, but if you have no character, the deficiency will soon be pretty obvious. Now, look at this. There are people who are very good at the things they do, right? But because they don't know how to, behave themselves, conduct themselves in a certain way, they tend to lose out on many things. They tend to lose people. You can have charisma, and there is a way you can conduct yourself and attract great people to your life. I mean, you build great relationships, but somehow you lose these people. Somehow you just find out that you're not able to hold them. You're not able to sustain relationships. It could be romantic. You are in love with somebody, but because of the way you talk to them, you treat them, you lose those relationships. If you've ever been in a relationship that got broken, or you were served breakfast, like they say, I put it to you that somewhere along the line, you probably have mistreated the person, or you did not behave in a certain way. Maybe you responded when you're supposed to react. Maybe you reacted when you're supposed to respond. All right. Maybe you did not apologize when you're supposed to apologize. Maybe you're supposed to forestall a kind of occurrence that would hurt the person, but you just disregarded it. Somehow, many of the failures in leadership today across sectors is a direct consequence of misuse of character. It's a direct consequence of faulty behaviors. So many times you're not achieving the kind of results you want in your business, in your family, in your relationship, in your workspace, because you've got something to fix in your character that competence cannot hide. And that's why the conversation we're having this night, it's pretty amazing. So let's get right into the conversation. So what's the foundation? Now, foundation of every character stems from values. I tell people you cannot behave yourself into something you've not trained your mind to believe. So here's what I mean. You find people who are armed robbers or who are pickpockets, who are sex workers, who are liars. Those people do these things because somewhere in their minds there is being a wrong education that for them to thrive, they need to do these things so they can live. Somebody who picks pockets in the traffic is not doing that because they were born a thief necessarily. All right, because what happens really is they believe that they cannot make a honest living. Somewhere in their mind they believe that the only way, the truth and the life for them is through stealing. The lady on the street who sells her body dressed naked or half naked or whatever kind of naked believes that she needs to attract people, men especially, who don't have sense, right, by exposing her body so she can get some monetary value or attention or whatever it is the end goal might be. So it's a dysfunction in the mind. So that's where it starts from here. So what are your core values? I tell people that if you don't have your core values, you cannot build strong beliefs. And if you don't have strong beliefs, you cannot be committed. And if you don't have committed, you would always break the standards that you don't even have. So there's no standard without commitment. There's no commitment without beliefs. There's no beliefs without core values. So what's your core value? What's that thing you can die for, you can live for? What's that thing that you can always stand by? For instance, for me, my core values is family. I don't joke with my family. I stay connected with my family, my loved ones, right? So it's really key. And I see people insult their parents. I see people talk down on their loved ones. I'm like, excuse me? So it's because somewhere in your core values, there's an absence, all right? You don't believe it enough. You don't strongly commit to it. So the truth is, if you really, really, really want to change your character, you must trace it back to your core values. What do you believe about yourself? People treat themselves badly. I'll give you an example. Somebody's come back from church on Sunday and they go to the park, and just because somebody speaks bad at them, or let's even use this common example of a conductor refuses to give you your complete change. You know, Lagos conductors sometimes can really be a handful. So they refuse to give you your complete change, and then you're just losing up your suit. And you think, I'm going to be allow you cheat me? No, I'm going to show you crazy. You're going to see crazy. And this man pulls off his shirt, throws the suit away, rolls up his sleeve, and begins to fight. Now, that's because somewhere in his mind, there is a belief system that says, I must fight for whatever I am without caring what happens. And you don't know that a pig enjoys when you fight with it. A pig enjoys the mud. It loses nothing by dragging you and itself into the mud. So because you don't have self-value, self-respect as your value, you can misbehave. So I would rather let you go with my change than embarrass myself. And it's not even a question of embarrassment. It's a question of how well you perceive yourself. All right. There are other diplomatic ways you can resolve such issues other than stooping so low to exchange blows with a conductor. I mean, that's why in many of our House of Reps and Senates, and you see some of those government houses where people fight themselves. Lawmakers become lawbreakers. You get the point? That's because somewhere in their mind, the core values are not there. They could have the competence. Eloquence is a competence, the ability to talk, ability to sway people with competence, with your speaking skills, your prowess. That's competence. But without character, it amounts to nothing, because you can ruin all you've gathered by competence in one day because of your error in character. And that's where the problem is. So it's good to be competent, but I put it to you, if you've got no character, you can destroy every single thing you've built in one day. Let's make a bit of progress from here. And I'm going to show you how that there's been some examples of character errors across the world. We have those things happen in the family front. We see them in sports. We see them in religion. We see them in arts, entertainment, and a lot of organizations like that. So I'll give you just three examples of really big public figures who have crashed down because of character error in their life. So I'll give you the first one. We have Tiger Woods. All right, Tiger Woods is a successful person, and but it was brought down by his character error in in the sphere of extramarital affairs. All right, even though he was able to restore himself, he went for therapy, and then he was helped, and he got help from sex addiction, but his name was already dragged down. As a matter of fact, from one of my research from Dr. Miles Murrow's book, Character Power of Character in Leadership, he said something about him and said he lost about $100 million. Look at that. Now, whether he changed or not, he's lost that opportunity. All right, he's lost that deal. He's lost that endorsement. So that's how bad it can happen. You can lose money. You can lose, resources. You can lose people. You can lose relationships. We've had corporations closed down, churches folded up. We've had different organizations packed up. We have schools being shut down. We've had individuals ruin their own personal integrity because of lack of character, even though and even when they have the competence to do the job. So what I'm saying this night is it's very fantastic when you spend time going for business trainings, executive meetings, all of this, all of that, buying courses, buying trainings. But I put it to you, if you don't fix your character, you're just fetching water into a leaking basket. That's the truth. Very hard and painful, but it's the truth. And I want to encourage you to open your mind and really accept this truth and fix the loopholes this night. So I'll give you another example. Another example we have is Jimmy Swaggart. Jimmy Swaggart was a very successful televangelist, but somehow that's in the area of religion, right? He got caught up in a scandal involving a prostitute. I think it was captured in a picture with her, and a lot of things could have been said and unsaid, but that was the news. He was caught in that, and everything he built from my research when I was making recently, his meetings, the numbers have been drastically reduced. And even though he might still be making some waves and all of that, the truth is it is very difficult to restore reputation. And not just reputation in this case, character. Because sometimes the people who believe strongly in you are usually deeply hurt when scandals happen. They're deeply hurt when they see what people refer to as true color, which I don't believe in anyway. People change. However, it's not fair to define people as their true character when they make mistakes. That's a conversation for another day anyway. But my point here is it was caught in that, and that really brought a lot of things down. So let's see one more example. Bill Clinton was accused of perjury and attempts to truncate evidence for a particular case, and that led to a campaigns for impeachment and all of that. And this is just to tell you how character error affects leaders at different points. I mean, think about it. I'm sure you know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 7% or more who have been victims of character error. Very fantastic people, and I mean, very good people, but for some reasons they have lost the estate they are building. They've lost empires, they've lost business structures, they've lost companies, organizations, even their own lives, because they just failed to tame their personal weaknesses. They failed to deal with their personal flaws. Let's go into a bit into the scriptural part. For those who read the Bible, you see this particular story of Absalom. Absalom Bible says is a very tall man, and he had this long hair. He was good, all right, but he couldn't tame his sexual desires, and was brought down. He died like a cheap man. All right, we've seen Samson died like a fool. right? We've seen many examples like that across, you know, different areas. So my point here is, while competence is good, let's talk about Absalom. Absalom was beautiful, you know, handsome young man, very tall, fair, long hair, was a full spec, but his beauty could not save him. So let's talk about Samson. Samson was typically the strongest man of all times. I mean, by those standards, is somebody who lifted the gates of a city with his bare hands, right? Because the Spirit of God was upon him. He had anointing, he had influence, he has power, he had a network, right? But he could not sustain his leadership because somewhere there was a flaw waiting to pull him down. So I wanted to listen and carefully ask yourself, what's that flaw in me right now waiting to destroy me, my family, my business, my company, my organization, whatever it is you're building or leading, that flaw might be waiting just to pull you down. Think about that. Think about that for a minute. So that's the borderline, and that's where it becomes serious. So let's go a few steps forward and let's talk about uh, how to strengthen your character. But before I go there, let me talk about this. You see, when you're talking about uh, character and competence, there are different chains of the consequences. And here's what I mean. Sometimes the people who are directly affected are not even as important as the people you indirectly affect. I'll make you understand. So let's look at somebody like Jimmy Swagger, like I said. Now, he had that challenge at that time. And the truth is, even though he was affected, but I put it to you that I was not the real victim. The real victim of that scandal were the people who trusted in him and have entrusted themselves to the beliefs in the teachings he has been having, or been given rather. And people can actually fall because you fell. People can go back because you went back. People can lose hope because you gave up, because you messed up. People who believe in you, in your personality, in your course, in your business, in your brand, in your product, can lose trust in you and even the ability to make the right choices. Because especially in the religious aspect, or the public figure rather, they say something like, if this person can fall, make mistake, what chance do I stand? So imagine you're leading a course around, you know, good governance or positive behavior, and then you make a mistake. Imagine how many people is going to be affected. So these are the things you need to watch out for, right? Nobody is out there saying, oh, they've never messed up, they're perfect, so to say. But the point is, constant check is what keeps you in check. You need to write that down. Constant check is what keeps you in check. Keep checking yourself. Be constant. Keep checking yourself. Don't assume all is just going to be fine. Don't assume all, you're on the right path. Constantly, even the Bible says something like, check yourself regularly to confirm if you're still standing in the faith. Because sometimes you could be living on an illusion, and this is because it takes just a little time for you to adjust your beliefs, your values, by compromising here and there, a little here, a little there, before you know, you become an entirely different person. You've become an entirely new person because you're changing gradually. You're compromising. You're compromising. And how that happens is because you're changing your values, you're adjusting your beliefs day after day gradually. And that's not who you want to be. So even if you're a brand owner, your company, if you're adjusting little by little, people will start seeing the difference. Oh, this person is becoming a different person gradually. I can't tell you for sure where you're failing right now, but I put it to you that if you adopt this metrics, you can actually deduce where you need to start fixing this from. So let's talk about how to strengthen your character. So first of all, I would say self-assessment. Regularly, like I said, self-assess. Assess yourself. In the last 3 years, what were those beliefs I had? Has there been any improvement? Have I let go of my principles? Have I adjusted my standard? Have I let down my guards? What has the changes brought? What have I been doing? All right. Because you're supposed to keep protecting your standard. The truth is, it is easy to adopt a belief. It is easy to set a standard. But the real challenge is sticking with it. Company culture. In this company, we don't come late. We come by 7 a.m. But you're always getting there later than that, right? And I mean, as a leader now, you are training others to break that bridge, to also breach that um, company culture, right? For instance, there's one of my culture in my training sessions is I address every single person as a leader. Leader. Nobody calls anybody by name. It's a culture. It's a culture. So imagine me going to my teaching sessions and I begin to call somebody by name. And instead of saying leader Cletus, and I just go Cletus, and everybody's watching. They might not react at first. They might assume it's a mistake or something. But if I continue that, even if they don't ask me for whatever reason, somewhere in their mind, I am already countering the existing company culture or training or environmental culture that has been set already. So I wanted to examine yourself in what areas. Let's talk about parenting. Let's talk about parenting. You're a parent, you're a leader in your home, and then the culture is everybody goes to bed by 10 p.m. But you are still watching a football match. You're still watching a movie series by 10 p.m. and you expect your children to go sleep. It's not going to happen. Even if they do, it's because they are scared of you. It's because they don't want to offend you. They don't want to insult you. I put it to you that somewhere in their mind, they already tagged you as a liar. You are not dependable. One day, something will happen. They will just tell you, Mommy, you're a liar. You will not believe it. You'll be shocked. They will tell you because you want them to do something you're not ready to imbibe. You want them to abide by a culture you are not ready to abide by. People, especially young people, children, don't listen, don't obey what you tell them. They obey what you do. I know this firsthand because I work in the children department in my church. And about 2 years or something, I was there. I was leading prayer, and I told them, "Everybody, go on your knees and let's pray." And everybody went down on their knees. But there was this young boy, maybe one around 2 years or thereabout. This guy was looking at me like, "I'm not going to kneel down. You're going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me." I looked at this young man. I went beside him and I knelt down. Believe me, this guy knelt down. I was so surprised. And that day was a turning point in my leadership journey. I learned leadership from this 2-year-old boy. Leadership is by example. Example. Set the standards and stick stubbornly to them. Believe me, one of the most unanticipated aspects of leadership is that when you set a standard, when you set a principle, when you put an outline of a belief system, believe me, you are going to be tested by that. If you set up a culture of coming early, you will begin to face serious things that will make you want to come late. It could just be your car will just pack up. It could just be somebody who just disappoints you by not doing the right laundry of clothes, not preparing your clothes or not preparing your food, whatever kind of setting. Something will just happen that will make it a bit difficult for you to stick with that plan. But that's where your commitment comes in. That's where you must become more committed, more committed, more committed. You're teaching sexual purity. Oh my, your temptations will be like this. Come and ask me. Your temptations are going to be like this. Very big. Because what that thing you are trying to fight for, that culture you're trying to preserve, that value system you're trying to protect will be tested. You'll be tested with it. So if you're somebody who preaches healthy eating, you find out that somehow you just begin to crave junks. And you're wondering why. It's because you're trying to advance a culture. You try to stand by a new system, and the forces are going to fight you, whether spiritual, whether physical, whether environmental, and most times, especially mentally. Mentally, it's going to fight you sometimes. So you need to be prepared about that. So most times we are not taught that we need to fight for our leadership, and that's why we tag this weekly live shows as "Protect Your Leadership." So protecting your leadership involves staying committed to the set of values, belief system that are necessary for the sustenance of your leadership. I hope we're learning something. So let's go a few steps ahead. So aside from self-assessment, one of the things you need to do is to bridge the gap between your values, all right, and your competence. So ask yourself, my competence is important, but what values do I need to match up and balance up? What competence, sorry, what, excuse me now, what values do I need? Right? What values? So sometimes you just need to be a bit more patient, right? Sometimes a bit more resilient, sometimes a bit more dependable, sometimes a bit more respectful. Let me give you an example. I have a culture, I always address people as sir, sir. Whether you're young, whether you're old, I tell you, hello, good day, sir. Sir, like sir, Sir, ma for females, right? And the other for male. People want to feel good. So you'll be shocked. Somebody patronizes your business just because you address them as sir. It's so surprising. Somebody keeps coming back to your shop because each time they come, you carry their bag. Simple gesture, and you're wondering, what am I doing? You don't have to always do everything. While others are giving crazy discounts, others are doing business gymnastics, different, strategies and all of that. You are just sticking to your values, and people are honoring you for that. You wonder why people are still coming to your school. It's because you don't only collect school fees. You put a call through to the parents. How are you doing during this holiday? Look at that. What school calls parents during the holidays to check on not just the children, but the parent themselves? You don't just collect people's money, be interested in them. The reason it could just be you're not making more money right now is because you're not following up the previous clients. You're not retaining the previous clients. So you are interested in getting more because you are just selfish in your approach to your business. So you want more customers, but you have zero plan to sustain the ones you've already acquired. You are so interested in customer and client acquisition that you blindly ignore customer retention. Customer retention is all about values, it's all about systems, it's all about the company culture that promotes love, that promotes acceptance, that promotes respect. Are you listening to that? So this is highly important. So begin to ask yourself, as a self-assessment and bridging the gap between your values and your competence. So let's see one more. So what are those behaviors you need to eradicate from your life? What are those behaviors you need to eradicate from your business? Sometimes your clients are celebrating the birthday of their wives. You call them. Hello, how's madam today? Please give her the food, or please say us well to her. The madam is not your own customer, but because her husband is banking with you, is doing business with you, is trading with you, as the child in your school, as the business in your hands, whatever it is, attends your church, whatever it is, you stay connected with them. Some churches have zero plans for first timers. Somebody comes to your church for the first time and you never ask about them again. The only day they come is the next time they come, and you're like, you came that they would not see you again. Zero plans for follow-up because you believe it's religious settings and Holy Spirit must do the follow-up for you. It's not going to happen. If you're a church, please have a system for follow-up. Have a system for visitation. You don't have to be the one to go, dear pastor. You don't have to be the one to go to the person's house. Have a unit called the follow-up unit. Right? You have that unit and they call them. In my churches, they are called Potter's Center, call center. Attend Potter's Transformation Christian Center. In case you're looking for a vibrant church, please attend my church. All right. If you stay anywhere around Ojo, around Lasu, Lagos State University, if you're a Lasuite, I recommend Potter's Transformation Center. Right. Attend Potter's Transformation Christian Center, PTCC. It's going to help you a lot. The church is amazing man of God, Pastor Mavis COG. And I just want to take this time to give him a shout out. He's doing an amazing job. Excellence is one of our core values. We're raising global giants. We're raising people set passionately on fire, all right, doing great things for God across all spheres in Nigeria, out of Nigeria, amazing people, So Pastor Mavis is doing an amazing job. And one of the departments in Nigeria, like I said, is Potter's Call Center. Call you. How you doing today? What's up, what's up, like that. So set up a system that's not just focuses on getting people to attend your church, not just getting them to buy your product, not just getting them to see you as a parent, but what's the culture in your family to make your children see themselves not just as members, but also co-laborers. You are building a future. Most people treat their children like slaves. All right, they're not friendly to them. They just see them as anything I tell you, you do. That's not you're not a military man. You're a father. All right, you're not a how do I put it now? Stop running an autocratic government in your house. Have a system of dialogue. Have a system of resolution, resolving issues amicably. Have values. Okay, what is acceptable in this house? Bible says that, is it Bible or Yoruba people in my language? I don't know. It says where there is no law, there is no sin. So stop parenting on assumption. Like my parenting coach, when Dialogue will always say that intentional parenting is not about assumption. You don't assume your way into parenting. There has to be values. For us, that's why you go to some organizations that have value system on the wall. They have mission statement, they have vision statement. Everybody sees, everybody knows this is what is acceptable here. This is what is not acceptable here. It's not by chance, it's by deliberate action. So the behaviors has to be communicated. Everybody must know what obtains here. In the same way, your personal life, for instance, I don't have friends who smoke. I don't have friends who are alcoholics. I don't have friends who party late at night, who insult people. One of my value system is respect. You can't insult me. I can't stand it. I don't like it. I don't do it. I don't have friends that insult people. I respect ladies, girls enough, a lot. I don't misbehave around girls. None of my friends do. It's a culture of my personal life. So when you come around me, even if you do, once you come around me, you've got to stop, because my life is built on principles, on values, on ethics. So you've got to adopt that in your life. So as I begin to wrap up, I've shown you what character does and how important it is to your personal life and your family, your relationship, your business, and your organization. So let's begin to wrap this up gradually. So let's talk about how to actually lead by example. It takes a lot of sacrifice. Sometimes it's difficult, like I said earlier, to stick to what you said, but somebody defined commitment as staying true to what you said you will do or not do, even when you're no longer in the mood when you said that statement. So for instance, if you said, we're going to be resuming office 8 a.m. every day, even if there is a chance and you want to come late, you remember, I said 8 a.m. I get it. When I have trainings, I get to class 3 to 5 minutes before my students. They meet me in class. It's a culture. So I don't come late to class and say, oh, all right. So it's a culture, because how you want people to behave or train or conduct themselves must stem from you. Leadership is not outside in, it is inside out. Leadership spreads from the cultural values, from the behaviors, from the organizational culture, from the personal life of the founder, of the team lead. Do you understand? That's how it works. So if you are somebody who leads a team and you don't have values, you cannot train them, you cannot lead them, because it stems from you. You can give what you don't have. Do you understand? So I wanted to think deeply about this and begin to change your mind. So yeah, people who lead don't who lead for character, right? Don't lead for today, they lead for tomorrow, because whatever it is you do today comes back tomorrow. You're leading for legacy, you're leading for sustenance, you're leading for stability. So don't just do things because you just want to do them. Remember, there's tomorrow, there are people watching you. There are people watching you, and you never know how far your fame can go. Some people have ruined future deals by mishandling today's deals. Could it be the reason you've closed doors in your life is because the way you handled previous relationships, previous sales, interactions, different deals you've had, how you mistreated them, how you cheated them, how you were dishonest, how you were unreliable, you failed deadlines, and all of those things. So check it. You're a creative, you're a business owner, you're a parent, you're a government official, you're whatever area or field or sector you are, protecting your leadership is highly crucial. Talking of protecting your leadership, my book, this is the first time I'm sharing this, my book, It's going to be published next year. All right, protect your leadership. I'm going to be having a master class as well. So watch out for this, and we're going to have a very good time. Masterclass or boot camp, yeah, you want to call it. It's going to be like 5 to 7 hours. Details will be rolled out soon enough. All right, so watch out for my new book and my boot camp next year. Amazing stuffs are ahead in 2025. I'm so pumped up and excited because I believe that you are not just going to lead with your competence, you're going to lead with values, beliefs, and the future is going to be guaranteed. Imagine all of us take this seriously. Your family is secured, my family is secured, my business is secured. Everybody, we're going to make tremendous progress in our personal and professional life. Thank you so much for joining me this night. I'm so glad. My name is Stephen Oluyemi. Remember, I'm a leadership character development professional, an addictions recovery coach, a youth counselor, and I also work with people to improve the quality of their personal lives and businesses through the instrument of character development. Thank you so much. I'm open to collaborations. Invite me to your church, invite me to your school, your mosque, your everywhere you want me, invite me to. Let's bring the conversation of transformation everywhere, and let's make the world a better place, one video at a time, one session at a time, one speaking engagement at a time, one person at a time, one company at a time, and everywhere is saturated with the knowledge of this truth and transformation. Thank you so much, everybody. I love you guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you've not, because massive contents are coming and you're not ready for it. All right, go ahead and enjoy. Ensure you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'm going to see you same time next week. I see you. Good night.